What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'll take you through the BandOS and show you how it works and how you can use it for your band. So let's dive right in. So first things first, we've built the BandOS inside a third-party software called Notion. If you're unfamiliar with Notion, it is basically a clean canvas that you can build your own note-taking, project management or task management system inside. It is built up of pages and databases, and you can connect them in various ways, which I'll show you a little bit in this video. So as I said, it's literally a blank canvas when you begin, and it'll look something along these lines. So you have an untitled page, which you can give a name, we'll call it blank. And you can begin to add items inside of this. As you can see, you can write just text, you can add a new page, a to-do list, different headings, tables, bulleted lists, and so on and so forth. So you have a ton of options to kind of build your own system. And it's literally through this that we've built the BandOS. So as you open and install the BandOS template, it'll look like this. So this shows you the main dashboard, which is where you can find all of the different pages that have relevance to your operations. So I'll go through each of them in a little more detail, but you can see here it's the task pipeline, the projects, the schedule, notes and meetings, contacts, areas and resources, which is basically a sort of tag, archives and vaults. You also have here a quick note entry and a quick task entry in case you just want to get a quick note or a quick task without going through the pages instead. What you'll also have is your task pipeline here, which shows you today's tasks. So they will be filtered on exactly the items that are due today. And the same goes for your active projects. So these will be the ones that are currently in production or currently being worked on. And we have some examples here just to show you that it kind of works. On each page, you'll find these guides, and they will show you exactly what to do on each page and guide you through how to use them. So just look out for these guides. They are toggles, so you can just click them like this. So before you do anything in the system, it's important to invite your band members. And the way you do that is simply to click the share button. And then here you'll add people's emails, and that will send them an invite. And then what you can do is go ahead and select their permissions. I can't do it right now because I'm in a kind of mock environment here. But what you'll do is add your people with their emails and then give them full or partial access to all of the pages. It'll make sense when you do it and invite your people. So the next thing I want to do is to show you the contacts database. And that is because that is where you can assign people in your system so that it tracks across the whole system. And I'll show you how to do that now. So this is the contacts page, and what you'll quickly realize is there are quick access points in the page to all of the different pages. And that is so that you don't have to go back to the main page every time you want to click to a new page. So you can just click here and it'll take you to another place. You'll also find the guide here, as mentioned before. And what you'll find here is simply a list of your contacts. So here are some mock people, as you can see. So John Lennon being the record label XYZ label A&R, which is nonsense, of course. But what you'll do is you'll start collecting all of your different contacts in this system so that you don't lose them. And you can add an email. You can add related notes to this, related projects, related tasks, and so on, so that you can kind of track what you're doing with your contacts, and you will always be able to find it in the system. So the main thing I actually want to show you in this page is your team. And this has significance because this is where you assign a tag to your team members or to your bandmates. And that will track across the whole system and make sure that when you tag someone somewhere, it will be the right person and it will be able to fully function in the system. So what you do is you add an abbreviation. So my name is Nikolaj Kirk, so I will add NK. And I'm the drummer of my band, at least. So you'll just add the function. As you can see here, you can kind of add the different functions here. You can even create more if you need it. And then what you can do is you assign the person's user to this team member. And that makes sure that your teammate is tagged appropriately in the whole system. So this is a mock environment again, so I cannot really show you, but what you would have is all your invited bandmates here, and you will give them an abbreviation, give them a function, and assign their account here. And it's also mentioned up in the guide. So what this does is that now this tracks to all the pipelines that I'll show you in a second. We also have in the contacts your companies that you work with, and as you can see, record label XYZ, that is what John Lennon works for, right? So this is the same as this one, and it's basically just connecting those two databases together. And what you can do is you can click the company here, and you'll see the people in your contacts that are kind of associated with this, in this case, booking agency XYZ. And that's the people that you see up here, right? So it should make sense. You just add your people, assign them to a company, give them a function, and they will also show up in here in the company. So the next thing I want to show you is the task pipeline, where you'll be doing a lot of your daily work and task management. So here it is. Again, it's just simply a page in which you'll find a database. And so this database is sectioned into a pipeline. So how that works is you have idea capture, you have task capture, you have kind of ready or scheduled items or tasks, and you have the archive. You can work from any of these levels, but they kind of flow through from idea to archive. Your idea capture is where you can simply store ideas. If they're not kind of ripe for action, you just add an idea in here. This could be a new merch design. And if you're not ready to work on it, but you just don't want to forget it, you add it to your idea capture database. What you can do in Notion is that inside of this database, you can open the actual entry, and what you get is a new page. As you can see, it looks a little bit like the other pages that you have in Notion, but it's now confined to this database, and it works within that environment. And you have several options for organizing your tasks here. You can change the status. And so if you change it to production, it's gone from the idea view and moves into the task view. You can simply move it along your pipeline like that by changing the status, and it moves along. You can assign a platform, for instance, Instagram, Facebook, Patreon, Twitch. And as you can see, you can add several tags to your platform. And what you can also do is assign a person or a responsible person. And you can see I show up here, NK, that was me, right? So let's say I'm assigned to this along with band member 2. Now this thing is tagged for me to work on. You can add a comment. Let's say it's a flower t-shirt. And what you can do is also add it to a project that I'll show you a bit later, but Merch Drop 2023, that sounds plausible, right? So now it's connected to your project. You can add a note to it, let's say note 1, in case you had a brainstorming session or something that you were working on the merch design in. And you can also add a contact, let's say it's Gianni Versace, because he was your merch printer, right? So you see that this merch design is now fully organized. You know who's working on it. You have some comments to it. You have a project that you're working on, Merch Drop 2023, and you know which contact to associate it with. What you also have is this database entry also works as a page, and we've put some templates for the page in here that you can use. And you have like several different ways of looking at this. So you see the project is now assigned. If you had related tasks, you could add them here. You can work with a checklist for Facebook and Instagram. You can even change this template if you want to. And you can add like research and notes and scripts, make a quick brainstorm if you need to, and so on. You can also describe your content here if you want. So you have a lot of different options for organizing this task in case it's very complex. All right, so let's say we move this to ready, and we think this is ready now to be posted or created or whatever it is. It will move to here, and you see it show up here. And this leads me to showing you the schedule, which is important because that's where you'll be able to see what's going on. This requires that you put a date. So let's put today's date and head to the schedule. So here we have the schedule, and what it is basically a separate view of the task pipeline that I just showed you. It's the same database, but just in a different format. And as you see, our merge design shows up here on the date with the assigned members and the assigned tags. You can see that it's ready. If we go here and change it to production, it'll also show up as that. So this is how you kind of move this along the pipeline and make sure that everyone's involved and see what is happening. And what you'll also see is that you can kind of create your own views of this calendar. So in this case, we've just made a few examples of this. It could be shows and tours, or posting calendar, or meetings, and they're kind of filtered in different ways. So the meetings will only show if you have someone in your contacts assigned to it. The shows and tours will only show up if you've assigned it in the area. So this is kind of a major tag that collects all of your different items. And now it'll show up here in today, as you see here. So these are customizable and you can change them exactly as you want. We've just made a few selections for you. You can also extend it, just as in like Google or Google Calendar or something. So you can extend the amount of time that you're working on this if you want to. And it will also show up now in your date, as you can see. And this brings me to another layer of organization, which is you can view this schedule, but only with your own personal tasks. And what that means is that this whole page is filtered only on you, the person logged in and watching the screen. So in this case, it's me, right? So I was band member, no, I was NK, right? So if I remove this tag, the thing is gone. As you can see, I cannot view it because it's not assigned to me. So if I wanted to view it, I would have to go back in the task pipeline. I would have to go here and put myself here again. And now I can go and watch it. It's back. So this whole view is filtered only on me. The same goes for the projects. If it's not attached to my tag, it won't show up in this page. And this is good for someone who is just doing their work. They're not like concerned about the big overview of things. They just want to see what they're doing, and that's fine. They have their own personal dashboard. Next, let's look at the projects. And this adds another layer of control over your work, because you can kind of aggregate all of your tasks into a project, and therefore you can kind of have a big overview of what's going on. So in here you'll have normal projects, which are smaller projects like a single release, a concert or something. And you have your master projects, which could be an album release or a domestic tour or something like that. So this adds several layers of control over your work, because you can work from different kind of vantage points and see what's going on. So let's actually start from the big overview and look at the album release, for instance. What you have here is the option of putting a project idea, an active project, or a completed project. This could be the same as an archive project, right? You have the project type, could be an album, podcast, shows and tours, or website. You can change these as you'd like. These are just what we've equipped the system with already. And what you'll see here is your other projects that connect underneath the master project. In this case, it's the single release. So if I click here, you'll see it's attached both ways. And you can again put a deadline. You can add someone responsible, me for instance. You can add a deadline, let's say today or next week. And we've also equipped these with some templates that you can use to make stuff easier. As you can see, there are already tasks associated. So they will already show up here, and you can kind of work your way through your tasks from this vantage point. So instead of going to the task pipeline and looking at every single item that you have on your list, you can just work from a project and have an overview of what's happening in your project. The same goes for notes, for areas and resources. And if I add a note here and call it single release note, it is now connected to this specific project. Okay, and this could bring me on to the notes and meetings. This is the notes and meetings page. You have the guide here, and what you have is different views of all of your notes, your actual inbox, your favorites, so all the notes that you've clicked favorite, I'll show you in a sec. Your most recent notes, in case you have many, it will show up chronologically with the newest note first. You have meetings that in this case is for your new merch design, because you've added a date and a person to talk to. You have your area notes, which is your tag, and your resources, which is kind of backlog of information that you have. And as you can see, we have the single release note that we created before in the project, and it is connected to that project right there. You can add it to a favorite, or you can add it to an archive, and it goes away from all of your stuff except for the favorites here. So it stays in the favorite, but it otherwise moves to your archive, which takes me to your archive. So here's your archive, and inside of this is all of your archive tasks, projects, notes, and so on. Here is that single release note we had before. So the way you can use the archive is to go back and see what your band has been doing in the past. Obviously this is a mock project, so it doesn't show anything, but in case you had entries in the past, so you'll see it's tagged the archive, let's say test task. You can kind of see them. It's filtered only on the archive task. And you'll be able to go back and see what you've been doing in the past. You can even go and reuse these. Let's say you've done a lot of work on this one particular task and you wanted to reuse it. You can duplicate it, add it to your potential ideas, and just give it test task 3. And now it'll show up in your ideas here. So now you can reuse it by the flick of a switch, basically. Like you can just reuse your tasks without having to go through all the hassle of working on it from scratch. So that's how that works. And the archive is great to reuse things, but also to just scroll back and see what you've been doing. And you also have different views installed of this. So there's a table view as well, in case you prefer that. That will show you all of the different archive tasks that you have. And this view is just a calendar. I prefer this one because it looks really cool and you can see what you've been doing. Okay, and finally you have the vaults. And what this is where you store all of your protocols, your templates, your links, in case you wanna track those. And this is also where every single database lives. So throughout the system, it's just references to the original databases, and they live here inside here. So make sure you don't delete any of this, because that will affect the whole system. But this is where you can also go ahead and unlock your databases. You can see here, lock, unlock, and that is how you kind of go and customize your system. So make sure that you unlock the databases if you wanna make any changes. And if you prefer it to be locked, then so that people cannot change the setup, you simply go in here and lock the database. So that was a quick introduction to how the BandOS works, what is in there, and how the databases and pages connect together. If you want to learn more about the BandOS or even get it for your own band, just click the link in the description and it'll take you to our templates page where you can purchase it. If you want to stay updated on what we do in Arachnid, stay updated for upgrades to the BandOS or new templates that we're creating, then subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you check out our website and sign up to our newsletter that is linked in the description. And don't forget to like this video if you find it useful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.